Gotta get more footage of the deterioration of the alley.
United States of
Complete
America
morons.
would have to be concerned for her safety.
They don't allow to plow in the wintertime either.
It's one of the issues that voters are going to be thinking about when we make the argument that 2024 in part will be about preserving democracy. Because you should not be afraid to tell the truth.
She had a lot of guts and doing.
She sure did.
She did. Scott Jennings.
3 more days of erosion. It'll be good erosion too. I know.
This clip now shows
Potholes ought to be showing it in.
Wound up turning her life upside
Yeah, they do.
down. What do you think?
Well,
Like anything's up to the dirty Duluth Cleaners ever. Nothing ever is. Ever. On the entire 2,500 blocks.
Or the poll
Only up to me.
in Georgia. I mean, these are not
That
public
is a
people
fact.
to start with. You know, they're not household names. They're not famous. You know, they're not used to this. And they didn't
Trump's
sign
gotta
up
bow
for this.
down.
So
They
they try
will.
to do the right thing.
They better.
And wind
They will.
up in
They
this
have to.
maelstrom that puts them at
Put their
personal
fuck
risk.
asses in prison where they belong.
It ultimately has a chilling effect on
Every
people who
fucking
work
one
in
of them,
public
yeah.
service, whether it's at the
I
government
don't care if they
level,
work
or
in the
at volunteer
office or
level,
not, they're at night.
volunteering for the next
They all gotta go to
election. So
prison.
I think that's one of the unfortunate
They're that dirty.
outcomes of all this is how many people out there say, well, I might want to work in politics, but it just seems too messy, too icky, or even too dangerous because I don't want to get caught up in something I can't control. So to me, it's very sad because I think it will reduce the number of people who want to engage in public service in this country when we need at a time when we need more, not less.
You're absolutely right, David. We're going to be hearing a lot more from Cassidy Hutchinson in the coming days as she releases her brand new book in which she discusses all of the things that happened to her. What kind of impact do you think this could have on the campaign, the Trump campaign, going forward?
Well, we saw what kind of impact she had on the January 6th hearings, which was significant impact. It really was her testimony that shifted the entire mission of that January 6th committee and its pursuit of what occurred and the truth behind all of this. She was an influential voice. You know, listen, as Karen pointed out, the Democrats are going to put abortion rights front and center in this campaign, the battle for democracy front and center in this campaign.
I know. Even to this day, the dirty Duluth Cleaners state that they're not responsible for their employees' actions.
He told donors about in New
The
York
law's the
last
law.
week, and he started getting much more
You gotta go to
aggressive
prison.
in this space, going at Trump directly.
Oh,
Kind of
yeah,
like
everyone
holding
there,
back,
yeah,
not
I know.
wanting to weigh in on his
It's only a matter of
specific
time.
indictments and trials and trying to stay out of the Department of Justice way. But the argument about democracy is one that you're not going to see President Biden shy away from. You're going to start seeing him lean more into. So in that sense, Cassidy Hutchinson is a player in that overall story. Do I think her book is somehow going to impact Donald Trump's poll numbers? No. But I do think this larger piece about democracy, we saw it as an argument in the 2022 midterms, and the electorate cared about it enough. And I don't think that's gone away, and I think the Biden campaign is planning to make it a key part of their campaign.
We'll follow this very, very closely. Guys, thank you very, very much. Important note to our viewers, seeing as Jake Tapper will sit down with Cassidy Hutchinson this coming Tuesday on The Lead. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern. Up next, the criminal indictment of a powerful U.S. senator is rocking Washington, and now the state's governor is calling for Senator Menendez to resign. I'll discuss that and more with a key House Democrat. Stay with us. You're in the situation.
I wish for the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro. Sean.
So I got a little bit more weed whacking to do, I know.
Switch to Verizon, you can trade in any iPhone and get the new iPhone 15
I'll do that
Pro
later.
on them.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a new iPhone 15 Pro on us, only on Verizon.
Other than that, it's just some live art.
With thyroid eye disease, I hid from the camera, and I wanted to hide from the world. For years, I thought my TED was beyond help. But then, I asked my doctor about Tepezza.
Tepezza is the only medicine that treats TED at the source, not just the symptoms. In a clinical study, more than 8 out of 10 patients taking Tepezza had less eye bulging. Tepezza is an infusion. Patients taking Tepezza may have infusion reactions. Tell your doctor right away if you experience high blood pressure, fast heartbeat, shortness of breath, or muscle pain.
Snapshot.
Tepezza, tell your
See ya.
doctor if you have diabetes,
Go to work or go home.
or
Get the fuck out of
or
here.
planning to become pregnant. Tepezza may raise blood sugar even if you don't have diabetes, and may worsen IBD such as Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis.
Now, I'm ready to be seen again.
Visit mytepezza.com to find a TED eye specialist and to see Bridget's before and after photos.
I wouldn't have my business if it wasn't for my website. Once I decided to go with GoDaddy, the process was seamless. I was able to create my website on my own, to have it be exactly what I want it to be.
I know. Talk about
To enter
squatting,
my
lingering.
appointment at
Dirty Little Cleaners.
GoDaddy was able to provide everything that I needed. The whole image of who I am and what empire is presented.
They gotta go. Duh.
She ran and played like a puppy again.
His number 2s are perfect. He's a brand new dog all in less than a year.
When people switch their dog's food from kibble to the farmer's dog, they often say that it feels like magic. But there's no magic involved. It's simply fresh meat and vegetables with all the nutrients dogs need, instead of dried pellets. Just food made for the health of dogs, delivered in packs portioned for your dog. It's amazing what real food can do.
Feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't at its best. Metamucil gummies make it easy to get the fiber you need, promoting your digestive health for a better you. Metamucil gummies, the easy way to get your daily fiber.
Before and bath fitter. Before and bath fitter. If you have a before bath, now's the time to call Bath Fitter to get a beautiful after. With our unique process, there's no mess or stress. Spend smart on a beautiful new bath done right, backed by a lifetime warranty. Join over 2 million happy customers who know it just fits. Bath Fitter. Visit bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
Sunday. I'm hungry. We're gonna do tapas. Jose Andres' love letter to Spain begins. This is tradition. In Barcelona.
You're gonna have the best meal of your life. I'm telling you.
It's delicious. Jose Andres and Family in Spain premieres Sunday at 9 on CNN. We got you back. We got you back. We got you back.
Delicious multivitamins inspired by nature. Nature's way.
This is the all-electric Polestar 2. Now, with faster charging and an improved range of up to 320 miles. Enhanced performance with rear or all-wheel drive. And luxury design as standard. The all-electric Polestar 2. Visit Polestar.com to test drive and order.
If your face has fuzz super long with just a buzz, it can itch, smell, flake, and look all weird. But every male jack has the answers that you lack to turn that hairball back into a beard.
I'm Arlette Saenz at the White House, and this is CNN.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has announced a 3-year, $482 million aid package for Ukraine as President Volodymyr Zelensky is visiting Canada. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces hit Russian-occupied Crimea with missile and cyber attacks today. CNN's Paula Newton is covering all this for us. She's joining us live from Ottawa right now. Paula, give us the latest.
You know, Wolf, I lost count of how many standing ovations Volodymyr Zelensky got in Parliament, and Wolf, that was the easy part, right? In terms of this visit, he was here in North America trying to shore up that military support. Certainly, as you mentioned, you got more military support, nearly $500 million additional from Canada. What's interesting here, Wolf, is that that will be part of a multi-year program. Certainly, Canada continuing to say that we are here for the long haul in terms of supporting Ukraine on this. I also will note, though, when you look at the real bold, audacious attack that Ukraine made on that Black Sea headquarters hours earlier, it really put Zelensky here on the front foot. What Ukrainian Canadians tell me here is they know that Zelensky wants to be seen as a winner. That if he is seen to be winning this battle, no matter what has been said so far about the counteroffensive, that he knows that he's able to get more military aid more quickly, that he can show their strength on the battlefield. Wolf?
Paul, how different was this visit to Canada from President Zelensky's reception here in Washington?
Yeah, much different, Wolf. I mean, look, there was no nuance to the support he got here. It was absolutely unequivocal, and that includes from opposition parties here in Canada. I will say that when you look at the counteroffensive strategy, there are not people here in Canada questioning what are you doing, how you're doing it, or how quickly is this going. And to that end, what was also significant, Wolf, is that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that Canada would begin to try a working group to try and actually seize Russian assets around the globe in the hundreds of billions of dollars, and that includes assets from the Central Bank of Russia. I have to tell you, Wolf, whether you talk to the State Department of the United States or the Treasury, they're very skeptical that this plan can work or that it's even legal. So Zelensky was definitely, again, leaning on Canada to try and have some influence with other allies, including in the United States. And obviously, this continues to be a tough sell with Republicans on Capitol Hill. It will take much more than one strike on the Black Sea headquarters to do it, but he believes that if countries like Canada continue to plead his cause, that perhaps he can elicit more support even from Republicans in the U.S. Wolf?
All right, Paula Newton reporting for us from Ottawa, Canada. Paula, thank you very much. For more on this story and other important news, I'm joined now by Representative Abigail Spanberger of Virginia. She's a key member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. I first want to get your thoughts on Ukraine's strikes on Russia's naval fleet headquarters in occupied Crimea right now. Does that help Ukraine's counteroffensive? Is it the right strategy for Kyiv, in your view?
Well, strategically, certainly, anytime they are able to successfully strike at the Russians, that is helpful to their long-term goal of not only defeating the Russians and expelling them from Ukraine, but demonstrating to the world, the United States, Canada, and our other allies the world over, that they are committed to winning, that they are committed to the fight for their own democracy and for their own freedom.
As you just heard, Canada is now committing to 3 years of additional aid to Ukraine. Can Ukraine count on the U.S. in the long term, given your GOP colleagues' hesitations right now over a lot more funding?
They have to. Their freedom and democracy as a concept, as a reality on the ground in Ukraine, and American values depend on it. And certainly there is bipartisan support for continued support of Ukraine. We have seen significant wavering, and certainly there are extraneous voices within the Republican Party doing the bidding for Vladimir Putin, but there are still more committed folks on both sides of the aisle who are loudly, confidently, and concretely committed to the support of Ukraine and their efforts to win this war.
I also want to get your thoughts on the breaking news today. The Democratic Senator Menendez has now been charged with bribery, using his position as the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to trade very sensitive U.S. intelligence and military aid to Egypt for money. The governor of the state is now calling for him to resign immediately. Do you echo that call?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is an issue of ensuring that our voters, the American people, those who send us to do the work for the American people on Capitol Hill, believe in us. It's also incredibly important that on the global stage, that international leaders do not think or do not even have a hint of an expectation that they can buy any sort of influence with American members of Congress. So certainly he is innocent until proven guilty, but this indictment is damning and he should resign.
Very damning indeed. What damage does it do to U.S. national security for a U.S. senator to allegedly trade American intelligence and military aid for his own financial gain?
Well, I'm a former intelligence officer, a former CIA officer, and as you just outlined it, as it is outlined in the indictment, it is absolutely devastating. It is shameful. It is devastating. It is abhorrent that there would be any elected member of Congress, the House or the Senate, or that there would be any person in a position of authority within the United States government who would in any way jeopardize the public trust and the trust put in them by the voters, but also our own national security, and to do so for their own personal.
Does it to you as a former CIA officer? Does it sound like espionage from your perspective?
So from an indictment standpoint, from a legalese standpoint, I'll defer to the Justice Department and the FBI on that. But certainly as a former intel officer, we collected information and we paid people for that information. So in the simplest of terms, yes. From a legal standpoint, I'll defer to the DOJ on that.
Representative Abigail Spanberger, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up, efforts to avert a government shutdown are on hold right now in the House of Representatives as frustrated Speaker Kevin McCarthy sends his divided members home, with the deadline fast approaching.
I wish for the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro. John.
You mean this one, the one with titanium?
No way I could trade this busted up thing for one.
Maybe stealing wishes from the birthday boy's not your best plan. Switch to Verizon and trade in any iPhone and get the new iPhone 15 Pro on them.
What?
Yep, and on an amazing network.
And I don't have to ruin any more birthday parties.
Yeah, that ship has sailed. Let's go get you that iPhone. Here we go. Come on now.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a new iPhone 15 Pro on us, only on Verizon.
Wherever you go, wherever you stay, all you need is one key. Earn and use rewards across Expedia, Hotels.com, and Vrbo.
I served in the Army for 11 years and deployed overseas 3 times. I understand the price of freedom, and I'm aware of the threats we face from our foreign adversaries. Countries like China, Russia, and Iran believe in oppression and censorship, and they want to dominate and use tomorrow's technologies against America. If you value free expression and an open internet, join me in sending a message to Congress. It's time to strengthen, not weaken, American technology.
We got a Subaru Forester Wilderness to discover all the places that make us feel something more.
Subaru is the National Park Foundation's largest corporate donor, helping expand access for all.
You're finally mastering Grandma's 12-hour sauce. Your stovetop gave out in the 11th hour. Luckily, American Home Shield is there to fix or replace covered appliances and home systems. Protect what you don't expect. Visit ahs.com and get a free quote today.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Thanks to Skyrizi, I'm playing with clearer skin. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
With Skyrizi, nothing on my skin means everything. Ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Does someone who threatens Putin's power ever die unintentionally in Russia?
I don't think so. He just leaves all this carnage in his wake.
Do you think he cares about that?
No, he doesn't.
The Source with Caitlin Collins, tonight at 9.
Wish you had help getting things done. Same. So I got Spectrum One. Fast internet, unlimited mobile, and advanced Wi-Fi, all for a great price. Spectrum helps me run all this easily. Work? Bust. Treat dispenser? Treating. And since I'm always on this, unlimited mobile is a no-brainer.
Get Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month plus advanced Wi-Fi and your first line of unlimited mobile free for 12 months. Call 833-222-8998 or visit Spectrum.com today.
Introducing new buttermilk biscuits in sweet and savory flavors, so everyone can have their perfect biscuit. Or add one on the side. Get a breakfast biscuit sandwich with a side for just $7 for a limited time.
Tonight, a potentially crippling federal government shutdown is only 8 days away, and there's no deal in sight to end the House Republican infighting that's pushing Congress right now to the brink. Let's go to CNN Capitol Hill reporter Melanie Zanona. Melanie, what's the latest on this standoff?
Well, Wolf, I'm standing here in a fairly empty Capitol because lawmakers have left Washington without a clear plan to avoid a government shutdown after conservative hardliners once again scuttled Kevin McCarthy's plans. Initially, they were planning to vote on a stopgap bill to fund the government tomorrow. It included a number of conservative priorities,
But McCarthy had to reverse course once it became clear that he did not have the votes for that bill. Now, I did just leave a meeting with some of Kevin McCarthy's top allies, and they outlined what their new strategy is going to be going forward. The plan, as of right now, is they're going to try to pass as many long-term individual spending bills as possible next week. And they're hoping that that could get some of these conservative hardliners on board with a short-term plan. But all of those bills, the short-term plan that the GOP is considering, the long-term bills they're trying to pass, are dead on arrival in the Senate. So it really doesn't do much to solve their shutdown problem. And Kevin McCarthy is clearly frustrated. Take a listen to what he had to say earlier this morning.
I just believe if you're not funding the troops and you're not funding the border, it's pretty difficult to think that you're going to win in a shutdown. I've been through those a couple of times. And if members think by moving you into a shutdown that that's a positive idea, I think, well, we continue to talk. Look, I thought we had a really good conference the night before. I thought we had moved 2 people, but we moved 2 people the other way, too. So it's a yin and a yang.
Now, across the Capitol, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has taken steps to advance his own short-term spending bill, something that's likely going to include disaster aid and Ukraine funding, the latter of which conservative hardliners are opposed. So that could tee up a major showdown with the House. But I want you to take a listen to what Schumer said about working with Mitch McConnell with our Manu Raju.
Leader McConnell and I are talking, and we have a great deal of agreement on many parts of this. It's never easy to get a big bill, a CR bill done, but I am very, very optimistic that McConnell and I can find a way and get a large number of votes, both Democratic and Republican, in the Senate.
So Kevin McCarthy is really going to have to make a decision here. If that Senate bill comes over to the House, he can either ignore it and risk a government shutdown, or he could put that on the floor but risk his own speakership. And so far, Kevin McCarthy is not saying how he would act, but it's a big, critical week coming up here in Washington next week. Well,
certainly is. Melanie Zanone up on Capitol Hill. Thank you. For more on the shutdown threat, be sure to watch Inside Politics Sunday with Manu Raju, premiering this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, only here on CNN. Right now, a new surge of migrants is arriving at the U.S.-Mexican border. New CNN video shows migrants wading through the banks of the Rio Grande in Eagle Pass, Texas, many of them looking for a narrow opening to crawl under the dense rows of razor-sharp wire. Let's go to CNN's Ed Lavandera. He's in Eagle Pass for us right now. What are you seeing and what are you hearing, Ed?
Well, Wolf, today, dramatically different from where we've seen thousands of people crossing here in Eagle Pass, Texas. This is the area where you have seen the majority of those migrants cross, making their way from the Mexican side of the river over there, winding across there, and then eventually confronting all of this razor wire. And that was where we've seen dramatic scenes play out, where you've had hundreds of people standing in the water for hours on end, refusing to go back to the other side, and then eventually figuring out a way to lift up the razor wire and safely get through. And that's what we saw yesterday unfold here as state law enforcement and Border Patrol agents simply just watched on. All of those people turned themselves in. They were then processed by Border Patrol agents. Some of them, we were told, were arrested on trespassing charges here in Texas. But all of this continuing to unfold. But the question is, how long is this latest surge of migrants going to last? And across the U.S. southern border, local authorities are bracing for the long-term impact of all of this. The mayor of Eagle Pass, Wolf, tells us that he's been told by federal authorities that there are about 50 to 60,000 migrants in southern Mexico. The train lines that have been moving many of these migrants north, they've literally been hopping on trains to make the journey north, have been shut down temporarily. And the mayor also says that they believe that many of those migrants are deeper in Mexico waiting for those trains to fire up again. That could be one of the explanations why we've seen so few people trying to cross today. But despite this, they believe that this migrant surge is going to continue, and they're bracing for much more impact of migrants arriving here in these communities, where many of the local officials say that the shelter system and the capacity to care for them has been strained to the maximum right now. Wolf?
All right, Ed, thank you. Ed Lavandera on the border over there, the U.S.-Mexico border. Coming up, an Iranian woman who took to the streets in protest against the government and lost an eye is now telling her story to CNN. We'll have an exclusive report. Stay with us.
Hey, get away.
10 years ago, we invented the Ring Video Doorbell for moments like these.
We found your wallet.
And Ring security cameras for moments like these.
Where are you?
With Ring, you're always home. Learn more at ring.com.
Businesses need 5G solutions today. That's why they choose T-Mobile for Business. MLB partners with T-Mobile to not only enhance the fan experience, but to advance how the game is played. AAA relies on T-Mobile's network to stay connected nationwide so they can help get their members back on the road. And we're helping Pano AI innovate to stop the spread of wildfires. Now's the time to see what America's largest 5G network can do for your business.
Stay tuned to learn more about this limited time offer from Renewal by Andersen.
We all have that list of home improvement projects we need to do, and if replacing your home's windows and doors is on that list, you want to know that it's going to be affordable. I'm from Renewal by Andersen, and we've helped thousands of customers who are on a budget get our windows and doors for their home. How do we do it? Well, here's something you don't expect to hear from a window company. You don't have to upgrade all your windows and doors at the same time. We're really good at identifying the bad windows and those you can wait on replacing. And here's something we offer that you don't find with a lot of window companies or contractors: great financing options. With Renewal by Andersen, you can have monthly payments that'll probably be lower than your cable bill. With another program, you can get windows and doors now and not pay anything for an entire year. It's almost like free money. No wonder half of our customers finance. Before we talk about the warranty, think about other things you've bought. Did it sometimes feel like you had to buy the expensive extended warranty to get the good coverage? That's never the case with us. Our windows are so durable and our installers are so talented. Unlike some other companies, our warranties cover the windows, patio doors, and the installation.
It's really impressive that they sell the product, they manufacture the product, they install the product, because then you're dealing with one company, and you're dealing with one company that has a long-standing and solid reputation.
Let Renewal by Andersen help put great windows and doors in your budget this year.
This month only, buy one window, patio door, or entry door and get the next one 40% off. That's 40% off with a minimum purchase of 4. Plus, save an extra $200 on your entire project with zero money down, zero monthly payments, and zero interest for 1 year. This offer ends September 30th. For a free appointment with Renewal by Andersen, call 1-800-501-1400. That's 1-800-501-1400.
October baseball that just feels right. This is moment of truth. And this one is gone. Makes the catch. Are you kidding me? October baseball on TBS. Home of the National League Division and Championship Series.
Recently, we got Spectrum Internet.
Because it has the most reliable internet speeds.
So now we're the reliable house.
Everybody loves it.
Everybody.
Big fantasy draft. Oh, I'm up.
Esports Finals! Right here in our laundry room! All my friends can come and work from my home.
All of his friends are
That's
here.
amazing.
All of the time.
Can you believe this is in our house?
No, I cannot. It does feel nice to be counted on, though.
I'm in the jungle.
Get the most reliable internet speeds with Spectrum One. Just $49.99 a month.
Here's to experiencing new heights in Wisconsin. To see where the breeze leads. And riding a wave of new fall adventures. Here's to those who Wisconsin.
I'm Kylie Atwood at the State Department, and this is CNN.
New federal data is now revealing a very disturbing new trend in the recent increase in COVID-19 cases here in the United States. Hospitalizations are rising faster than average among children. CNN medical correspondent Meg Terrell is joining us right now. She has details. Meg, how bad is it?
Well, Wolf, the numbers are pretty striking. When you look at them, they are up among adults 3 times higher now than they were 3 months ago. But among kids, they've risen 5 times since that trough 3 months ago. Now, it's important really to put this into context. This rise is off the lowest level that we've seen for hospitalizations with COVID since they started measuring this at the beginning of the pandemic, but it is rising to levels that doctors are starting to become concerned about this really overall. And if you look at where geographically hospitalizations are highest, it's really concentrated in areas in the south. Particularly, you can see the yellow there that's showing higher levels, and the orange even higher than that, really concentrated in states like Florida. One concerning trend among the kids' data we're seeing from the American Academy of Pediatrics is that really we're seeing these pronounced rises in kids under the age of 4. We're seeing that they are just a quarter of kids in the country, but more than half of COVID hospitalizations, and their vaccination rates for COVID are particularly low. Only 13% of kids under the age of 4 have had any dose of COVID vaccine, compared with about 2/3 of kids between the ages of 12 to 17. So the American Academy of Pediatrics really urging parents to talk with their pediatricians about how to protect their kids from COVID.
How has the White House been handling this new wave of COVID cases?
You know, well, we are starting to hear that they're going to step up messaging. A White House official telling CNN that they're going to start pushing more the message, not just for COVID vaccinations, but also for flu and for RSV. We also, of course, heard this week that the administration is going to restart its home test program, where folks can order free home tests, 4 per household, starting early next week. So all of that coming together. But as we are seeing these cases and hospitalizations rise, you are hearing some frustration from some doctors that the messaging hasn't been stronger yet.
Our Meg Terrell reporting this important news. Thank you very much. It's been a little more than a year since the death of an Iranian woman who wasn't wearing her headscarf properly, allegedly in the hands of Tehran's so-called morality police. CNN's Germana Karacha spoke exclusively with one protester who lost her eye after taking part in the nationwide unrest. And we want to warn our viewers, some of the images you're about to see are upsetting.
To the chance of death to the dictator, a protester tears down a poster of Iran's supreme leader.
A young girl was murdered because of the compulsory hijab. We couldn't take it anymore. It was like a fire hidden under the ashes.
And like a wildfire, the protest spread to every corner of Iran. Their rage was met with violent repression. In the small town of Isfahan, the fear, the chaos captured in this shaky cell phone video also captured this. Security forces opening fire at protesters. A scene so hard to watch as the crowd rushed to help a woman screaming in pain after she was shot in the eye.
That moment when I got shot was the bitterest moment of my life.
That woman is 32-year-old Ilahe Tavakkolian. She was at the protest with her 10-year-old twins.
My children were just shouting, "They killed our mom, help." When this person started shooting, we saw him. He was 30 or 40 meters away. I saw him aiming at us. I turned sideways to shield my children, and I was shot. I could see only blood. I covered my eye with my hand. I felt like if I take my hand off, it might fall out of its socket.
Ilahe is not alone. Activists say Iranian security forces were using metal pellets and rubber bullets deliberately and systematically shooting the eyes and blinding more than 500 protesters, according to rights groups. Many have shared their photos online, but the regimes called them liars, spreading propaganda. Ilahe lay in hospital in this agonizing pain for hours. Doctors reluctant to help her as security forces were hunting down the injured and those who aided them. After surgery to treat her wound, Ilahe stayed at home in a dark room for more than 3 weeks. I
could hear them from my room chanting slogans. Something was pulling me outside to speak, to shout, to demand my rights. I felt like my fight wasn't over yet.
But she also wanted to save her eye. With the help of an Italian journalist, Elahe made it to Italy, where she's undergone more surgeries. It was too late. Doctors discovered that the pellets still lodged.
childhood educators.
That's what
They
happens.
help in ways that a lot of parents